Welcome to the bunker. Join Nikki, Rosella, Robert, Kayla, and Cole Wednesdays at 10 p.m. Pacific Standard Time as we traverse the portals of the universe. Discover the secrets of the cryptids. Uncover the truth of conspiracy. And explore the hauntings of our world. And once again, welcome to the S4 Paranormal Bunker.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another episode of the S4 Paranormal Bunker. Tonight, we are going to do another episode of Rosella's Adventures because we didn't get to finish the adventure in Ohio, and then
Anchorage.
Now we have another story about her trip to Anchorage. Anchorage where?
Alaska, babe.
Oh,
whoa. Okay.
told you, Kayla.
I was totally wrong. Every time somebody says Anchorage, I figure it's Alaska. I'm sorry.
Oh no, it's okay. Like, yeah, it's a funny story of how it was named that pretty much, and the thing that it was named after is not even there anymore. So, kind of interesting. But yeah, it's right over the river from like Lafayette. It's probably was like 11 minutes away, so not far. The whole town is very haunted. In fact, I have a book in my hand right now I purchased, and I haven't had a chance to like pick up. So, Haunted Marietta, History and Mystery in Ohio's Oldest City, by Lynn Stewart, Haunted America. You probably heard of her. But yeah, she's written many of these kind of things. But yeah, it's very interesting and I told you guys like last week about the mound. I think the Mound Cemetery.
Yeah.
And she's written about that too. So yeah, the first like, you know, person to die was standing on the mound, who was a soldier who was killed, and they buried him there. And then that became the cemetery. And there's a lot of mounds around that whole area. And pretty much in a 200-mile radius going through that area. So it's pretty cool. But I also wanted to finish with the Lafayette because I think I forgot one story about the waitress at breakfast.
Yeah.
Okay. So, and remind me if I okay, you already talked about that because I know there was so much that went on. But basically, the waitress at breakfast, it was the first, well, so it was the second day, but that first morning that we were there, we went down to have breakfast. They have a separate little spot, like that's their restaurant. And apparently they've been doing that for over 25 years in that restaurant. And it's all like anchors and stuff like that, themed, and boats. Really cool place, nice. And the waitress was really nice. I think her name was Shelly. I think it was like Shelly or Sarah. No, Sarah. And I said, you know, this is why we're here. And she's like, you know, I've only had one experience in like 25 years. I'm like, okay, can you tell me? So she was pretty open about it. She said that they had an old, you know, remember those kind of like ticker tape calculators where it had the paper on it and you could calculate the stuff and it would, you know, print it up for you, like a little typewriter. So, and she was like, it was from like, 1980 or whatever. It was just like sitting there for years. and collecting dust. Nobody ever used it. And she said they used to use that counter that was actually behind me and Misty where we were sitting. It was like a counter where you used to pay, but they got rid of it. So the counter was just kind of empty with old computers and then this little calculator. And she said that she heard a noise when she was going around, kind of cleaning up like the place because breakfast was done. And she couldn't figure out what it was for a long time. And then finally she said she went over to the counter and heard the noise coming from there and saw the buttons of the little calculator getting pushed down. And she was like, I was really freaked out. And she said that she saw the little ticker tape, like, put the ink down too. So every time you pushed the button, it was, putting the ink down on the paper and moving up. So she said that she just said, hey, Mr. Hogue, I think that was his name, Mr. Hogue, who was the original, the one who, well, not the original owner, but the one who remodeled the whole place years back, around that kind of time, that 1970s to 80s. And she said, Mr. Hogue, I think that's you. And I really want you to stop because you're freaking me out. And then she said instantly it stopped and it never happened again. So that was the one that I kind of forgot to say in Holy Chaos. Yeah, that is it, Robert. That's totally it. And she said she saw them getting pushed down, the buttons. Can you imagine that? That's just like crazy. So, Cole, what were you saying? Something?
Friend, I don't know. I lost it. Ladies and gentlemen, you are going to have to forgive all of us. We are all a little under the weather tonight. In fact, one of us should be in fucking bed, but she's not. Friend, she may not be on the show tonight, but she's listening in, and we know it.
Yep, we do.
Your spirits say go to bed.
Yeah. Friend.
Rosella is taking it for the team. Yeah, we're all sick. We're sinus stuff.
But so what weirded me out was at the start of your story. Okay, when you say 25 years, does it weird anyone else out that is only the year 2000? Like, that bothers me so much.
Well, that's what she said, because she said she's been working there 25 years. But it's funny because pretty much that remodel that he did was it was like the 70s to 80s, I believe. And I know you guys looked it up, last week. I think, Kayla had said it or something. But I think it was around that 70 to 89.
Yeah, it was, I believe the last remodel that they did was the upper floors were redone in 1990.
Makes sense.
Like, it just bothers me that 25 years is now to the year 2000. When I think of 25 years,
70s.
I still think 75.
No.
Don't like it.
No, I don't like it either.
Friend,
I'm with you.
Did you have any full-on experiences with any of the owners at all, like, that have passed?
So, at Lafayette, I saw the Mr. Hogue, who they kind of call either Mr. Hogue or Captain, and most of them say Captain. I saw him downstairs in the basement. And I did talk about that last week a little bit, where there was like a weird door that looked kind of like a submarine kind of ship door that was just randomly hanging on the wall. And they didn't know where it came from. But he was showing me, he was upset that it was painted because I guess they painted, after the last flood, they painted the entire basement like tan. And he was mad that it was painted because it was not painted when he had it installed there. I think somebody just gave it to him. Like, hey, you love ships. This is from a ship. And he's like, where can I stick it? And he just kind of stuck it on the wall. And that's what he was kind of showing me. Like, this is mine. You touched it. Like, what'd you do? He was not happy about that. And then when we went downstairs to the ballroom before the kind of, nasty entity started talking to us, we were talking to him for a few minutes, and then he pretty much brought another victim with him named Robert. Actually, Robert came through, and he said, my name is Robert. He was starting to talk to us, and then all of a sudden it went dead. That's when Misty and I got in the elevator, and it went down to the basement, and we were freaking out because the nasty ghost that was on the 5th floor kept warning us that he was going to send us to the basement because he knew that we had I had all the visions and the crazy experiences in the basement. So, and that's where all the victims' bodies were stored before they were carried out to the river.
Oh.
So that is the only time that I guess it wasn't the only time. So he did come. Remember I said the shadow figure on that first night? After I had like the boom vision, like it was like 7 at once or maybe more.
Mm-hmm.
But he came in and he was the spirit, the shadow person who peered around the corner. So he was looking at me, I think, because he was worried about me. So he's very much protective spirit. And people will talk about him all the time in that manner. The only other thing that I can think of too is I don't know if I'd ever discussed the mirror in depth, because there is a giant mirror, and you guys had kind of brought it up a little bit last week. But there's a giant mirror that's at the front of the desk, like by the desk where you check in, that front desk.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And that used to be on the 3rd floor. But people reported a maid, kind of a French style like outfit maid, in that mirror, seeing her and interacting with her, that it creeped people out. And she said so much that they took the mirror down to and put it right near the front desk, and nothing's ever happened since. So I looked at it, and it looked like the mirror that kind of Marilyn Monroe had in Hollywood, in that area, when she lived in that hotel. So I was like, that looks exactly like the same, because I saw it on a documentary, and like it spooked me out so much that it looked like the same mirror. So I was like, wow, maybe this is like the same company or the same style or something like that, but it just freaked me out.
Mm-hmm.
But otherwise, nobody else said anything to me about Mr. Hogue, or they called him Captain, experience-wise. So, but yeah, I can kind of start in on the other house, because the pretty much that the Anchorage house. Now, the Anchorage mansion is run. I think it's called like Hidden Marietta. If you guys are interested, if anybody's interested in going, and you can book a tour, historical tour. You can go in like me and Misty did, and it was like $10 for the hour. I will say, it doesn't say that. It doesn't read that way when you buy your ticket. It reads that you can be there between 1 and 4, and it's only $10. So that's not right. It is $10 for the hour. So we got interrupted on the podcast, and they were like, you got to pay, or, your time's up kind of thing. So we just paid another $10 just to keep kind of exploring it. But I'll just warn people about that. And I did tell them, I was like, it's not written right when you look at your ticket.
Yeah.
And they kind of seemed to disagree, but I'm like, I'm pretty sure that I'm right. But anyway, yeah, so the house was actually, it's interesting because, remember the castle that I went to before? We went through that, and I didn't feel anything there. Well, the same builder and designer actually built and designed this. And they also built the Henderson house that we went to on the last day, on that Sunday going home. And that was a really well taken care of house. Nothing had moved in like pretty much 300 years. But anyway, the Putman family was the original owners of the Anchorage mansion. And that was in the 1800s. It was a very small town with nothing like in it, and the college was kind of just being built. And a pretty much, yeah, they say a strong-willed woman who was passionate about the town named Eliza fell in love with the elegant buildings being built back east. She especially loved the large Italian style. So she told her husband, Douglas Putnam, one of the richest men in town, that she must have the beautiful Italian home as well. So he agreed, and he hired John, and it's Slocum, like slow comb maybe, but the same man who built the castle and the Henderson Hall. Now the Henderson Hall is also over the river in Williamstown, but a different direction. There's two rivers that run through this Marietta that join. So Ohio, and there's another river, and they join up. So that's why I keep saying over the river, but they're different directions. And then you can be in Ohio on one side, and then be on West Virginia on the other. It's just you wouldn't even really know. Mm-hmm.
That's
Yeah, and then like Misty and I did do a ferry dinner cruise, a ferry dinner cruise on that river, and it was really cool. It was really neat. The food was amazing, so really cool. But yeah, so Eliza basically designed the house. It really reflected her taste. She really cared about everything down to the wallpaper, to the just making sure that the house looked extremely elegant. She wanted everybody to be jealous of the house. Okay. But the sad thing is that she did not live very long. She died shortly after moving into the house. So 3 years after the house's completion of heart disease. So the mansion has, it says, undergone many changes since Eliza first designed it, though many original pieces remain, such as plaster, ceilings, chandelier, the hall downstairs through the Putnam family, although the Putnam family lived here, the first and longest. 4 other families called this mansion home. So the Knox family, the Meredith family, the Roberts family, and they lived there for about 10 years, one after another. Each altered a little bit to the house, pretty much to their fancy. But the last owner and person to own the house the longest after the Putman's family was an oilman, Eddie, and it's a weird to say, but Mac Taggart. So MAC and then Taggart. And after his death, his sister, Sophia Russell, Eddie McTaggart moved. Okay. And after, it was an oilman, Eddie. Okay. And after his death, his sister, Sophia Russell. So, okay, they lived together. So sister and brother lived together. The way it's written is kind of weird, but Eddie McTaggart moved into the house in 1919 and lived there until his death in 1952. Upon his death, his sister Sophia inherited the house and lived there for another 10 years and died. So the Anchorage then turned into a Christian nursing home. And so that was a nursing home and operated from the 1960s to 1980s. And then many changes were made because it was turned into a nursing home and had many patient, staff, visitors, of course, and was very heavily crowded. And so heavily crowded that the patients were lining the halls and filling the rooms. And it was not known to be a great place at the end, and the county shut it down. So
yeah, I would hope
it was kind of a nasty situation later.
It doesn't look like a good place for a nursing home.
No, and the design doesn't make sense to me. Like the first floor does, but the second, the first floor doesn't, but the second floor did. But I don't think they had an elevator either. Of course, back then, it makes sense that they don't. But I didn't see an elevator. I was never told about an elevator. The stairs, they go up, and then pretty much on the second floor, we had a lot of action too. But the second floor was really wide, like huge hallway when you walked in, and then split off into many other rooms. So you could tell that it was definitely still set up for that patient care. And that is where it looked like maybe a nursing home setup, but nowhere else. So, and they still had the servant quarters, which they said to me, slave quarters a few times, but she's like, this is Ohio, so we can't say that. But I mean, the servants were black and white people, but a lot of the black people who were the people who were coming through, and they were saying that they were treated as slaves. So, again, this is right over just a bridge, and it is West Virginia. So that's where they had slaves. And these people knew each other, which is the craziest thing. So the castle, this house, and then the Henderson house, they all knew of each other. And George Washington actually had land that was right near the Henderson Hall. And he's the one who convinced these two men to pretty much move there and inhabit that area, which was not inhabited really yet. So the Hendersons were like the people who I think were there more first and more of the 1800s, and these people arrived more in the 1900s. But Washington convinced them because he said that he had all this land, and he was supposed to settle on that land, but never did. I don't know why, but he never did. But that Henderson Hall had it really, really rough. I mean, there was like nobody really there, and they were fighting still Indians all the time for their property, their land, right? So it wasn't the greatest time. It feels like this man was also a part of, huh?
Can I ask a question quick?
Yeah, sure.
What did the lady mean by we're not allowed to say that?
Because we're in Ohio.
Okay.
Because there's no slavery in Ohio. And they all, Buxton, they said that too, but they also called themselves slaves at Buxton because they were called paid servants because it was Ohio. But when I talked to them, they told me that they were slaves. They were treated as slaves, and they were starved, and they didn't have that much. And, some of them said, hey, they were great to us at Christmas or Thanksgiving, but still very miserable and unhappy. And they called themselves slaves, especially at Buxton. Here, one man called himself a slave that came through. And she told me, well, we're not allowed to do that. We have to be politically correct. And I'm like, well, I'm telling you what they told me. So, that came through. And I mean, the Ovilus thing that we had, it said servants. But I was getting slaves and servants like myself. It was bouncing kind of back and forth for me.
I freaking
But,
hate that.
and it was
The fact that political correctness has taken that away, that part of history away.
right.
Is
Yeah.
insane.
I know. I was like, well, I'll tell it as the spirit tells it because that's the truth.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's what I'm there for.
For,
Yeah.
like,
What's that?
it's why at some points I do wish that more people had a connection to the other side.
Yeah.
So it would become more normalized to actually hear those points of view.
That's true. Yeah, because then you wouldn't do a lot of things that or make a lot of decisions and choices. You know? You really wouldn't. And people, they say I'm too sensitive about some things, but I'm like, no, I've seen now a lot of stuff, and that's why I interview really these ghosts, if you look at it that way, because I pretty much do. And I go in there, I'm always honest. I always say to them, this is why I'm here. I'm here to tell your story. Your journey, it means something. Nothing is for nothing, and something is always for something. And I believe that you can really learn from other people's living experiences. You're living and then now you're dead. I can still learn from you in some shape or form. And you're still here to teach something, or else you wouldn't be here. That's how I believe. And I tell you, as soon as I say that to them, that I'm going to tell your story. What do you want me to say? Do you have any questions for me? Feel free to ask. They never ask me any questions. They start telling me, thank you. And yeah, this is what I want you to tell people, because this is what they have wrong about my life. And this is, the pain that I went through if they went through something traumatic. But they're always so nice and will talk like crazy when I tell them that. But if you come in there, ranting and demanding and being obnoxious like all these dumb TV shows, they just shut down and they go. And I would go too. I don't blame them.
Well, and yeah, like I don't know. I like a lot of those TV shows and the investigators we have in a lot of areas. Paranormal investigators is what I mean by that. Not private. I think I've worked with a few different groups, and the way some of them walk into a building, just the demeanor they have walking in. Friend.
It's sickening.
And then that's as soon as someone does that, I immediately think, well, we're not finding anything today.
We're done.
Yeah.
Might as well, walk away.
And so then when some of them say, well, we got some, I'm like, no, you didn't.
Yeah.
Unless it was a big F you. No, you didn't.
Yeah. I mean, it's disgusting how people treat these people and their property. Like, they built this house.
Yeah.
Respect, Yeah.
Friend, even the people who built my house is nothing special. It is a 1967 mobile home. But as I was tearing the bathroom apart in the last 2 weeks, friend, I looked at everything they did and thought, wow, friend, that was a good idea. Like, you guys did great work. And then I look at some of the repairs other people did, and I'm like, okay, you didn't know what you're doing. But that's okay. You got it done. I mean, the house has served us well for the last 6 years and hasn't fallen apart too badly. So, friend, now it's on us to figure out how to do it better. But that also comes with the fact that new things have been made, new things have been invented, and they didn't have those at their disposal at that time. Friend, I want his house. Do you guys remember Casper's house?
Yeah, really.
Friend, and you know what? This kind of also, the front entrance to the Anchorage mansion does
it looks like that.
A little bit.
It does.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the stories are interesting. So basically, they give you a whole like kind of layout of basically like the most, these are the big hauntings and stuff like that. Well, I will say we started out basically in the dining room. That's where they just started us out. Huge, huge dining room, like massive room, gorgeous, like something you would see on Bridgerton or something. It was really elegant and beautiful. And then it kind of like went off into other like rooms around it, I will say. So it was pretty large on the bottom, but it really didn't feel that way because of the light out. Like the largest room was definitely that huge dining room area. But so we were in there, and immediately a little girl started talking to us right away. And she said her name was Henrietta, and it is in the basically the writing. It says like Henrietta and a little girl named Clara. They are children. Henrietta has been experienced for over 50 years. Clara, a nursing home patient, saw her often while she lived in Anchorage, in the mansion. They're calling it Anchorage. After Clara died, she returned to the mansion in a child form. So that was kind of interesting. So basically, we started right away. She started talking to me, and she said that she was a little girl. Her name was Henrietta, and she immediately came to us in the dining room and followed us into the parlor. She ended up telling us that she was a granddaughter of a grandmother who lived there while it was a nursing home. She liked it so much she stayed. So basically, like I feel like she lived her life, died, came back, and then she stayed. I don't feel like she died as a child or anything. I never experienced Clara. I got told she was gone. And that was up later when we were in the attic. And I can kind of get to that a little bit later. But I will say why Anchorage is called Anchorage is because the driveway used to be shaped like an anchor, but you can't see it anymore. So that is now gone. But that's
Okay.
why they called it the Anchorage Mansion, because there was a famous boat builder, and like he was a boat builder and like just a boatman, and he would come often, and he loved, like, it's a very big boat town and everything to do with boats because of the rivers. So they called it the Anchorage, and that's why it's called the Anchorage. But anyway, the music room, which was created by another, I think, a different owner. So the Putmans were kind of like the Douglas Putman and his wife Eliza were the really kind of famous one. I think it was Eddie McTaggart who did do the music room, though I could be wrong, I will say, but I'm pretty sure it was him. We went into the music room, and they said that there has been a shadow figure that has been experienced in there in some negative like ways. It'll appear to people, and start saying some bad things through some spirit boxes and just not be, nice. Well, we went in there, and immediately we got Hat Man that came through the obelisk, and I got it too. And I just remember telling like Missy, like, this thing feels evil. Like when you walked in just after a few minutes, it felt like it was coming from those two front huge windows in that room. And it's a redone room too. They're redoing the whole thing, and they've redone most of the downstairs, but it is the upstairs that is like pretty much all the rest of it that really needs fixed up. So they are working to restore it, which they're doing a really great job. It looks fabulous. But looking outside the two windows, the ghost was pretty much like darting back between like the corner of the room and in between the two windows. Kept going back and forth. And I was getting that it wanted to be evil. So it wasn't a great feeling. Sorry, I'm sick. So I'm trying to hang in there with my voice.
What I'm getting from that is safe zone, safe zone, safe zone, safe zone, and you'll be able to see in between.
It was like, yeah, like kind of like, you can't see me here. Can you see me here? Can you see me here? And yeah, it was, the obelisk was going off like crazy, and then I had other equipment, and like with Missy, I had the K2 meter thing, and it kept following it with the K2. So it's kind of funny. I'm like, okay, I have a feeling that this isn't going to really change. So let's just kind of move rooms. And we did.
Okay.
So we didn't experience anything else downstairs. We went upstairs. And that's where I kind of said, like, the upstairs, when you walk up there, it's more of a big grand hallway. And it splits, like, it just kind of goes into other rooms. Like, there's no doors that really divide anything. They're really wide. Sorry. But they're really wide open spaces. So it makes sense to me that people were like, they said patients were lined up like around in the hallways and the walls, because there was really nowhere to put them. Like, there was no doors or anything like that, just really very wide open kind of entryways with no doors. So, but it needed a lot of help. That second floor really did. It was really, really huge though. Very big. And then it went back into the servants' quarters. And in the servants' quarters is where we met a guy named Floyd. So sorry, guys. Floyd sadly, he passed away, and he had a disturbing story. So, like, remember those, like, the oil gas lamps, back then that they used? he brought it in at night into his room, set it down on the dresser beside his bed, and they had like a bunk bed, I think, situation. He thought that he turned off like pretty much the gas, like and he did not. Like he turned down the flame enough. I guess he just didn't know. He passed out and he died. So it's really so sad. So they found him dead the next morning when they didn't come. Like apparently I guess they would rise and like, okay, it was expected to see him show up with the horse and coach kind of like ready to take us somewhere. And so the woman came in to pretty much find him, like woman in the house, like went to find him and found him dead. But what bothered Floyd was he said that he was known from the paranormal investigators coming in saying that this was him, that he was associated with harassing women, especially he was really especially mad that he said it was this other spirit who came after him, like years after him. And he had died and remained there. And he was the one who was like a big ladies' man, not a great person, and was harassing the women, but saying that it was Floyd, saying Floyd's name. So one woman is only one person that came through and said, okay, we've heard one person validate what you're saying, so we're going to try to like correct it. He also told me he was not happy with the way they had like some writing up there, like a story about him and stuff, and they said that he said that it was wrong. He didn't like the way that it was written and he wanted them to change it. So I told him. But I mean, you can take it one way or you can take it the other way. But you take it one way, it ends up looking like he's not a great person. So can't blame him. But yeah, the servants' quarters was so extremely small. I mean, you could hardly actually get up and down the stairs. I don't know how I can't imagine somebody trying to even carry something, God forbid. I mean, wow. Those stairs were insane. It was just crazy. But
was
yeah.
like Floyd intoxicated or something at the time of his death?
He never said that to me, but and I didn't see anything written that way. It just kind of read basically that he went to go turn off the lamp light, thought he turned it off, and the fumes filled the air and killed him. So kind of like, like I guess like a car, the carbon dioxide. Seems like
you would have smelled it before.
Right.
Maybe
he just was so tired.
How long ago was this?
Oh, this is definitely early. Let's see, 19. I mean, I would say around probably 19 before under 1930. I would say. Because they're saying the last record they have of the house is around 1911. But, I mean, this is a man who said that he was a slave to me. And then the staff was like, well, we can't say that. And I was like, well, that's what he's saying to me.
And you think of some of the smells that they had in the 1930s in and around everywhere. But especially in and around homes.
And in the servants' quarters where they're like, it's not going to be a cleanly, probably place because they don't even have time to even do that. Yeah.
Sometimes with that overpowering of smells, you're not going to smell things.
Right.
Especially like gas lamps.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, and if you're so dead tired, to the world after working like, really hard day.
Yeah, I guess people like sleep through fires and everything. Like, I mean.
Well, and you gotta think, natural gas only has a smell because we add it to it.
Yeah.
That's an additive that we put into it.
I just know that when I light one of those old gas lamp like things, it has that funky smell to it. You know what I mean? Like it's a.
Yeah, but if we're not used to it, we'll smell it.
Yeah.
More than the other person if they're used to it.
Yeah, I
I
guess
mean,
so. I mean, I guess you're
kind of.
used to that smell hanging around.
That smell would be everywhere all
Yeah.
the time.
Yeah, it's true. I mean, he was kind of showing me in the vision him just like dumping pretty much into bed, so exhausted. So I feel like it was just like a very hot time. Like, heat will take it out of you too.
Mhm.
Plus exhaustion, I feel like that was kind of what he was showing me.
Okay. That
No
makes
air
sense.
conditioning, gotta be rough.
Right.
But yeah, so but he was just really upset that this he was being known as the spirit who would do this because they actually did write that he was like this crazy friendly guy. Like really the owners loved him and they always were he treated everybody right. He was like really honest, wonderful person.
Mhm.
So to have him being like this is his name coming through and he's harassing women, apparently he was like touching them and calling them names, very provocative kind of stuff, pulling
Yeah, I'd be
hair.
pissed about that too.
So yeah, I'd be very upset. And I was like, okay, so when I went down and when I was leaving, I finally told them like, okay, so this is like, who I am and everything. And they're like, oh my God, she's like legit because they didn't think I was really telling the truth, I guess. And then they looked me up and they're like, oh my God, it's her, oh my gosh. And so I think after that, they started like listening more to what I was saying the spirits were unhappy about. So I was like, if you can correct that writing upstairs,
Mhm.
again, if you read it one way or you read it another, it just looks kind of funky, doesn't make him look great, and that's why he's upset. So he wants this wrong corrected.
Mhm.
Um, Another thing is kind of like later, but yeah, we went up to the tower, and that's where that kind of comes in. So the tower is really cool. I mean, trying to really remember it, but if it was, I think it was like four, like, four kind of skinny pillar windows, I would say, like pretty much in a row.
Mhm.
3.
And it was beautiful. Oh, three. Okay. It was huge up there. It doesn't look
No, it
like
looks
probably
tiny.
it looks, yeah, and it was really big when you were in there. I mean, that would be, I told the guy it was like it would be the best office that I could ever like imagine. If I started writing a book, I would never leave. I don't think that could have coached me out with food.
Mhm.
That place was so beautiful, and I told him that, and he was like so delighted about it. He started talking to me, and I was like, this is what I do. This is why I'm here. What do you want to say? And so I found out later that he normally doesn't talk to people, but to say go away, and he'll talk to people for like maybe 2 minutes. So he did not like to talk to anybody. I told the woman he talked to me for probably like 20 some minutes or so. We lost track of time. I think I could have talked to him all day. He was so nice. We were going back and forth. And he told me how he watched the Marietta College being built and he could see it from his house. And looking over everything, I mean, you could see the whole property, but imagine that there was no houses there because now, sadly, it looks like it's in the middle of a hood and the railroad tracks are running pretty close to it. So it's really sad, but there's pictures of what it used to look like, where it was so much land, and cows and stuff and like things like that. Rolling hill, there's a huge mountain rolling hill behind it, and it was actually built from the mountain that stood behind it. So the cement and the bricks, they're all from that mountain that is literally standing behind the house. So really cool. Um, but yeah, he was saying, I watched all this stuff get built. This is my home. I do come, go up to heaven, but I come back because this is my home. And his wife was Eliza. He said that he missed her so much because, remember, she only survived for 3 years afterwards. He said he missed her and he still mourned her. So he died at the ripe old age of 89, but his wife, she died very young. So he said that he still mourned her and missed her. And I did ask, was she reincarnated? Because it's usually what I find out. Like, if they really miss them, that they're not there. Like, he was like, I don't talk to her anymore. and he was telling me he was going between heaven and the house, so he'd see her one of those places. So I said, "Is she reincarnated?" And he said yes. So that's why he really misses and mourns her, because that was the love of his life and his soulmate. Um, so yeah, he was talking to me about the home, building it. He was talking to me about writing a lot, like writing up there pretty much, like doing kind of like business. It sounded like bills and things like that. But there was, and they never said what she wrote, and I forget her name that was from it, but she was a famous author who lived there during, she was a part of one of the families, and she turned into a famous author. And I think it was from that the gosh, what are their names? Because there was three that lived there, but it was like the middle family, I think, and I forget their name. And it's like in my head. Okay, the Russ. Well, I don't think it might have been Sophia Russell. Um, or well, the Meredith family. It was the Meredith family and a Roberts family. So it was one of those. But she was a famous female author, and she used to write up there, is what he told me. So I was like, oh, that makes sense. And that's when we were talking about writing and stuff like that. But he's like, yeah, I really wish that they would treat the house better. And I talked to him for a second about the staff, and he said he didn't like a lot of things that were being done. So in that aspect, I went down, I kind of blew it off kind of thing in a way, like being respectful, on the podcast. But I was like, I'm going to go tell the staff, what he's saying. And what happened was they kind of said, he was a very, very Christian man. And I'm Catholic, and I did talk to him about, hey, I'm Catholic. This is, what I do and what I believe. But, this is my angel. I always introduce him to my angel because Archangel Raphael's with me all the time. And so I feel like, too, that also gets them talking to me faster, and because they feel comfortable, they know it's okay. But he was telling me that he did not like a lot of the stuff that they had downstairs in their shop, which was some negative things in my opinion. But I'm a Catholic person, so I'm just against some of that stuff. But you know, it basically can transfer, like, some people think, that it's evil. Some people think that it isn't. So it's really to everybody's, kind of thing. But he was not liking that. And he was the person who built it. He owned it. And when I told the staff, they said, yeah, that makes a lot of sense. And started telling me that they were Christian and they were against some of the stuff too, but they were doing what they could to get people in because things sold. So it makes sense. He did talk to me about how he understood that basically he knows that this is selling, and helping the house get renovated, but he was not happy with how that was going on. But he was extremely happy with the renovations and that they were taking care of the house. So basically putting up with the bull till I get your house back is what he was kind of talking about, right?
Well, I'm surprised he's not mad about some of the stuff that they've done in the past.
Well, he was also very unhappy about the spirit boxes and things like that. He said that when people came up and started pulling those out, he would go away. So I said I couldn't believe him. He said he went to heaven.
I mean, like some of the stuff they've done to the building. If he built this place,
yeah.
Okay. So do you guys know what an Osiris light is? An Osiris window?
No.
Okay, so in ancient Egypt, they used to put windows into certain areas in order to frame light, so it would bounce off reflective surfaces throughout the area, creating lights inside.
Oh, okay.
So, and in our
smart,
not so modern architecture, friend, we do the same thing with windows that are so small and circular, and they're in older houses.
Oh, okay.
And they're just a small circle with usually 4 panes of glass.
Yeah.
In a cross form. They took one of them out and put a fan in it.
Oh.
Those are very important lights to a house.
Oh.
Because they let in a certain amount of sunlight into that room.
Hmm. Well, it makes sense to me. I mean, he said that he was happy they were renovating it and bringing it, like, I think they're trying to restore it to what it used to look like as close as possible, for sure, for the first floor. I could tell that.
I hope they do that, like replace that and put the actual glass back in, because
yeah,
that room on the second floor probably, like,
it's pretty dark.
They probably did that for the nursing home, I bet.
Maybe, yeah, because the fan looks that old.
It probably is. Yeah, I did not get that far in because the floor kind of looked like you might be able to fall through, to be honest. So I did not go very far in. And then she told us, well, our hour was up, so we had to go pay. So Misty ran down really quick and she paid. And then we went up to the attic and then came back down to the servants' quarters. So yeah.
Okay, so can you describe for me where the servants' quarters are?
So when you come up the stairs and you go, like, pretty much you go around this corner and you go through a room, like it's a large room, and like, because they had, like, it was, again, there was no really doors, they were really open framed, like, you'd be walking into a family room, open, like wide open, framed kind of thing. And basically, yeah, Robert, that's funny. It's true. But yeah, basically, when you walk through one of these, it was on the side, and then they had an old bathroom, and then all of a sudden, these tiny, I think it was only like 3 or 4 stairs, that appeared, like you were kind of going like into a small little attic, but it was a big space, like a hallway, so kind of a small hallway that was pretty much 2 huge rooms. That were they were pretty big. Like, if people were living in them, back then, probably, like, you could probably jam 4 to 6 people, I'd say, in there. So they were pretty kind of large rooms. But you got to think, though, where was the kitchen for them? So did they have a kitchen, or was that just sleeping quarters? Not really sure. They didn't have any history. They didn't really know. So, not really sure. But yeah, it's very tricky because it was tricky to find, because we're like, where the heck is it? And we went through that, like, room around the corner of the stairs, and then there was a bathroom, I think, attached to that room, and that is where we found just like this tiny. It just came out into, I wouldn't even say it was like a hallway, because it was really short, and you just went down these stairs. And then all of a sudden you were just in the slave quarters kind of thing. Well, servant quarters, I'm sorry. But yeah, it was a pretty small space. I can't imagine for all the servants that they must have had, that could have been a comfortable anything.
Like they were just crammed in their bunk style. Here you go.
I think that they must have been, and they had bunk beds in there, but they were kind of like, apparently that was from like paranormal staying overnight kind of gigs that they installed that. And I'm like, oh, okay. In my vision, though, I kind of saw a bunk bed style myself. So, like, really, I'm talking crazy old, like, where hay almost was coming out of the bed. So
I'm going to send one on the S4 radio chat and tell me if I'm right of where you're describing.
Wait, me?
Yeah. So I just sent on our chat.
My phone went into sleep.
Bren.
Oh, okay. Yep, that's it. Yeah.
Okay.
That is it. But they only had the second floor. So the other floor, there's a bathroom underneath that. That was a parlor attached to the parlor, and that was used as a bathroom. So, not for the servants.
Robert, are you able to share that picture on the screen? Because I can't. Because
It is.
I'm working on my phone here with that. Friend, because that, like, that, and that'll help people see that actual house. Like, it is a gorgeous house.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Although
It's incredible.
Yeah, like, I would hate to have to do the roofing on that place.
God, I know, right? Well, I will say, so we went, after the tower, we went down to the attic, okay? So you have to go through the attic to get to the tower. And so we breezed by, like, through the attic to get to the tower. And I went up there by myself, while Missy was, like, paying still. So I was up there for a bit by myself with him. And then when we came down together. I did not like when we went through the attic. I was like, it was a get out feeling, which you really got to trust. And, Misty usually can feel if it's a male or if it's a female, and the feelings that she gets emotionally from a spirit. And sometimes she'll feel if it's like, a bad feeling or not. Like when we got to Lafayette, I mean, she was like, I feel it. I feel it in the hallway. I feel it. And it was Erica that was down the hallway who was a victim. And she was like, I feel this is bad. But she was feeling the circumstances. So she just, like, she did not feel it this time. I feel like she wanted it to be the little girl that they had written about. And it was not. And I kept telling her, this is not what you think. This is an evil entity. Literally, like, this is not a good entity, that it wants to be really bad. And it basically is going to pretend to be a child to prey on those weaknesses. So, and they had this, like, write up sometimes in some of the rooms. They had it in that servants' quarters. They had it in that attic only. And then, like, the dining room, pretty much, of, like, some experiences and stuff. Well, they had this whole write-up about the Henrietta and Clara. But I was told immediately by my angel, Clara is gone. She's not here. She hasn't been here for years. So, knowing what I knew, because I'm gifted, was different than, because she just didn't know. So Misty starts trying to, like, interact with it and turn on, like, they had, like, a bunch of toys on the floor because they were like, this is where the children used to play all the time in the attic, when basically it was the Putman house. But it was not the same vibe or feeling, from back then. It was definitely not good. So, yeah, the spirits, like my angel said, and I had confirmation that Clara was gone. And Henrietta was not even there. She wouldn't even go up in the attic. Sorry, but yeah, so the spirit started playing around with Misty and trying to pretend. And I was just never buying it. And I was being pretty rude and just saying, like, I'm not doing this. I'm not, no. I'm like, we got to get the hell out of here. And I did not want anything trying to, attach to us or any kind of negative anything. So I just kind of kept telling her that we need to go. Well, in the vision I got, it was a paranormal group, a bunch of people who were sitting up there, and they had a spirit box. And basically the evil entity came through the spirit box. Which I will tell people, I do not like spirit boxes, and I really don't like them, because anything up there that, is avoiding judgment, could be just obviously people live, they die. If they were a jerk in life, they can be very much a jerk when they're gone. And to avoid judgment, they kind of just, like, float around. what can I do? Who can I bother? And that seems to be that kind of situation. Whenever I was with people who would whip those out in paranormal investigations, I would leave immediately because you're basically inviting anything in from heaven or hell. It is a two-way street. And what I'm always told from the other side is, it's like a Ouija board. You just don't do it. And we've just never had any good experience ever with them either. Never. So I kept telling her, this is the vision that I have. So, I'm getting told to leave. I'm going to go, like, let's go. And I knew we still had to go back to Lafayette, and that was still the crazy night that we still had after that. So pretty exhausting because that was our second night. Well, I went downstairs and I was telling them, the ghost basically and everything. Bye. Thank you for coming. Oh, thank you for, inviting us into your house. This is really a nice place. And I understand why you don't want to leave. Thank you to Henrietta and to Mr. Putman. He was so nice. Well, he came, I saw him appear in the doorway of the dining room, and he was thanking us and saying he would offer us brandy or whiskey or wine, but it was inappropriate for ladies. But he did not want us to go. He was really sweet, and he said that he just loved us and adored us, and he really loved that we respected his house and we treated him well. Well, when I went to tell the staff all this, they couldn't believe it. So, yeah, that's the attic.
Perfect.
Right. Yeah. So that it was very creepy, a creepy vibe, vibe. But they had pretty much like a mannequin that was just like half dismantled, up there too. So it was just a bunch of creepy vibes and weird stuff.
Well, at first I thought it was a first floor room and that back corner of the ceiling had fallen down. Then when you were talking about the attic, I realized, and that the toys were in there, I realized that's like up there. So I went back and grabbed the picture and had Robert put it on there because that's awesome. Like, friend. Although, like, there is no way I'd sit in one of those frickin' chairs.
Yeah, no, and that is what they were doing. In my vision, they were doing that.
Yeah, that has dumbass seance written all over it.
Yeah.
Friend.
Yeah, I think there was like 9 to 11 people is what they were showing me because I was trying to count them, but it was night in the vision. It was dark, but I saw Mr. Putman standing over by the tower stairs to kind of go up the stairs, just shaking his head back and forth like, you are not doing this. No, I will not be a part of it. And then he left. So it did confirm this happened. And when I went down there to tell the staff, this is not a child. Clara is gone. I mean, they told me that she's been gone for a long time. So, that could be 8 years or 20 years or, a long time to them, 3 years or 1. But because, they got a flat plane of time. I have no idea. But it felt like she had not been there for a really, really long time. Yeah. So I will say, but she did live a life and come back, that kind of thing. So did Henrietta. So no child died on the property that I know of. But I told them, and they said that's what they thought happened. And they thought they knew the group who did it. She did say, when these people walk in, you never know who you're going to get. And, they're paying good money. I think it was $500 or $570 for the night. And you got it for the night until the morning, and they could stay there that long. So she's you try to give them their respect and try to back off, but you also feel like these are not great people, so you don't want to tick them off. You're also afraid for your safety to say something to them, that kind of thing. But that was the situation, and they brought this spirit in. But I was really warning people, and he like probably take down that sign just because, and I would take down the sign and the toys because it's false information. They're not up there. Like Henrietta, when I went back down the stairs, she wouldn't go to the second floor at all. She would only reside on that first floor, and she was everywhere with us. She never came up those stairs. But we came down the stairs. She was right there, and I even like took my equipment all around the house with me. And the funny thing is that men really hate this REM pod that I have. The male spirits will never really light it up because they can't stand the sound. And he was lighting it up the entire time. Then Mr. Putman in the tower, and I was like, oh my gosh, I can't believe it. But then the evil entity in the attic was lighting it up like crazy whenever Misty would treat it like a child and ask it questions. But
Yeah.
you would get on the obvious like run, fear, devil, death. Like
There is a video on their Google page of someone using a REM pod on there a few months ago.
Oh, okay.
In a room with a fireplace.
Okay, so there's the fireplaces that are downstairs.
Okay, so that's where they were probably using it. So probably was Henrietta lighting that up.
Probably,
it's going off pretty good in the video.
Well, and Henrietta would not step foot in the music room where this Hat Man, she said Hat Man was. And I got Hat Man when I walked in there. Just like Hat Man, be aware, Hat Man. That was the angels who were talking to me, like to protect me and watch me. But yeah, like whenever Misty would go over to those corners, like Robert was saying, it was like, okay, dash over here, you can't find me, you can't find me. But with like basically between my rods and my gifts, I'm like, I know where you are. So you kind of can't hide. The other rooms, I think I have to say that I think that every single room downstairs had a fireplace.
Okay.
No, I'm pretty positive. The music room it had like a piano in it. And it was smaller. There was like, a parlor, it looked like probably for the women, and there was a parlor for him, like a manly, area parlor. And that was where the bathroom was, and upstairs on that second floor is where the servant quarters was, above that bathroom. So you get an idea. But they are very large rooms, like parlor rooms.
Yes.
I was just thinking, try to heat those things. Jeez.
So this just has a basic fireplace in it. Like the room's very dark. And it's got a small dresser. It looks like. It's not a piano, I can tell you that.
Uh-huh.
And then it's got a carpet right in front of the fire pit, about, I'd say 4 feet from the fire pit.
Okay.
So,
is it green?
You can't tell. The carpet has black, like a black outline around it. And it looks like multiple colors, but I think it's a red and white and beige.
Okay, I think that could be that parlor. That room is actually black. The walls are black. I'm pretty positive.
Okay, no, this one's white. But this is 8 months ago or 5 months ago, so they might have changed the color of the room.
They could have, yeah.
Because it actually doesn't look white. It looks primered.
Okay.
So.
Yeah, because I was like, why is this room painted like black? It's kind of odd. But I think they tried to distinguish between this is the male, this is the female. The different parlors and where they sat and stuff like that.
Well, and it was actually quite common in that era to have a black parlor.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Okay, I've never heard of that.
It's stupid, but...
I mean, why would you want... So dismal.
Yeah, well, and that's what it was. It was the fact that the men would sit there in a dismal surrounding and talk about the dismal things that were going on around them.
While drinking their scotch and smoking their cigars.
Yes.
Yeah, and that place, I mean, you could tell that that's definitely where they moved it up, Yeah, when I walked in there, it's like, woo. But I brought my equipment because we were packing up. and we were leaving, I brought my equipment into the bathroom because that was the only bathroom there was, and the only working bathroom was downstairs. So before he left, I'm like, okay, I'm going to go to the bathroom. And I just had my equipment with me still in my hand and stuff before we kind of packed it up and said goodbye to the ghost. Well, the ball, I have a motion sensor ball, and the REM pod, I had them on. I put them down on this little tiny, like, kind of dresser thing, right near, like, pretty much the heater. There's, like, a big heater in the bathroom, like, old-fashioned thing from, like, kind of like the 70s or something. And it lit up like crazy, was going crazy, and the ball was rocking back and forth like nuts. And I was like, okay, so now I can't use the bathroom because I know you guys are in here. Get out. So I kind of like was like, guys, can you go?
Do you mean like a radiator?
Like it was like an old radiator, I think, but definitely I don't think it was being used anymore. But it looked like it was like kind of from the 70s or something.
I will say it's a possibility they weren't in there.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because those radiators are cast iron.
Oh,
they travel through. So that travels throughout the house from a boiler, probably in the basement, and so their energy would travel through those.
Oh, okay, interesting.
Yeah,
because I just set the equipment down and I forgot that it was on, and it was rocking back and forth, the ball like crazy. And lighting up, just like somebody was really moving it in a rocking position that it would normally fall right off. So it was, and they'll do that. Like at my house, if I put it's like a little cat ball, but if I put it down on my kitchen table, and I could go out there, I could do it right now, or on my desk right here, and be like, hey, move this ball for me. They move it like in a circle, and they'll sometimes go right to the edge. And then they'll bring the ball back. So they'll roll it backward. Because they're like, yeah, because gravity will take it down, right? And it will fall. But they're like, I've got the ball. So they're really showing you, like, I've got this. So it was rocking, like, back and forth towards that edge and then never fell off.
Huh.
And then, that REM pod went off. And it's a very obnoxious sound.
Yes.
I got my stuff from UK, so I say it's like kind of extra obnoxious. It's like,
it doesn't matter which one of those you get, they all suck.
It's like so loud, and the males hate it. But males hate high pitched noises, so it makes a lot of sense to me. But yeah, it's interesting. Like if you actually do research, on it. They'll say that women are not heard by men because we have a higher pitched voice. So they tend to ignore us because the high pitched noise is irritating. So that's why they kind of say we're nags in a way because of our high pitched voice. So I think it's very interesting about that kind of stuff because of the noise that it makes. Now, when I would take that REM pod to Victorian House in Amish country all the time, they would never use it. There was only one that would light it up for me, a really nice spirit that was male. He would light it up, but nobody else would because they hated it. We'd be like, light it up, and they're like, no, we hate the sound.
That does make me laugh though, because what you just said about like the study that was done.
Yeah.
And
it's interesting.
Well,
yeah,
it reminds me of this old, not old really, it was only like 2 years ago that I last saw it. But this trend that I saw on people's little videos that they do, and it was in all my car groups on Facebook, where a guy would walk by his truck and say, I need your guys' help. I need to know what is wrong with my truck. I don't know what it is, but it won't stop making this sound. And he pulls open the driver's side door, and his wife is sitting in the passenger side just screaming at him. And then he closes the door and says, see, as soon as I'm out of the truck and not near it, it stops making that sound. But as soon as I open the door, it's right there. What is it, guys?
Okay, that's pretty crazy. That's funny. Yeah, it's actually interesting, too, because my mother told me recently she does a lot of research on these things. because of like focusing and things like that too.
Okay.
But there's the good old fashioned joke of too, like, he doesn't listen to me because I'm the wife. Well, it actually takes men 2 minutes, and I believe it's their right ear. It takes them 2 minutes to actually recognize and hear and process what you've said, for your right ear. So, like, my mom always is like, she was joking. She's like, yeah, that's why pretty much your father kind of looks at you like, what? Because he's processing. But it takes him 2 minutes to process what we've just said. And it's just a female voice. It's really interesting.
Huh.
But
see, and I don't find I have that problem as much, but
I swear it's my stepfather, he's is always trying to get away with something. I know my husband is too.
Like, I usually have a problem processing what anyone says for the first few seconds. Just because I try and do so much at the same time. But
well, and I think that's a part of it. I think, and if someone's talking at you and we have a higher pitched voice, and it's specifically, that right ear, it takes 2 minutes for you to process that information. So, like, if you're looking at somebody and you're processing it, you kind of look like, what's going on? I'm confused.
yeah,
That's usually the face you guys pull on us. Yeah.
well, like, I look at like anyone, like, I'm always confused. Friend.
My husband's always like, yeah, because he's got really bad ADD. And I'm like, okay, stop. I call it spinning. And I'm like, stop thinking about this. He's like, he wants to get out what he wants to say to me. So he won't hear what I'm saying. And therefore, it's like, okay, I'm just going to keep thinking about what I want to get out to you so I don't forget what I have to say. And then he does not hear what I'm saying because there's goes 2 minutes of wasted time. So he looks at me all dumbfounded. And I'm like, all right, let's go back over this again. So I make him repeat things back. And he gets really mad at me sometimes, but I'm like, you've got to focus because it's like it's an audio thing. I mean, I'm like, you got to stop doing this. You got to focus. You got to retrain your thought. And I think that my dad does it. Like, he has massive ADD. And I say my dad and my stepdad, but he will look at you always like a deer in headlights while he's trying to figure out what the hell's going on.
See, so. That's the stupid part. Like, I am a very musical person. I love music. I love everything about it. Friend. But if someone is like my kids get a letter from school that they bring home and they start trying to read it to me.
Yeah.
I can't do that. I need to read the letter because I need to see it.
Yep, you just tune it out.
My husband does that. Yeah, he tunes it out right away. He's like, nope, I can't hear you. I can't focus on it. I can't take it in.
Yeah, and it's not that, like, for me, it's not that I tune it out. It's the fact that they're going too fast.
Well, it's probably a big part of it for,
Like, my brain does not process information that quickly. And if it does, I'm screwed for like 3 days afterwards.
Oh, well, 3 days.
Yeah, like if I get too much thrown at me at one time and then I start actually responding just off instinct.
Sensory overload.
Yeah, but like my instincts actually kick in and I just start going and I don't stop. For the next 3 days, I'm screwed. I can't do anything. I just have to sit here and kind of drool.
Wow.
But,
oh my gosh.
And like the family has gotten pretty good at actually not doing that to me. But like it does happen every once in a while where all of a sudden like everything's going on at once, so I'm just firing off what people need to do and where people need to be, and then I start doing my own thing, and everything gets done.
And you shut down.
And then I shut down.
Yep.
I totally understand that's why I go to bed. Like, my family laughs at me that I go up around 7:20 every night because I'm just on overload all the time with that. It's like, okay, hour, and when I do my readings, I easily do my readings kind of like, if I have to do an 11, I will, but try to do like 12, 1, and then be done actually at 2. to go pretty much eat and go pick up my son. So it's like, okay, here every hour is kind of structured. I have timers going off, and it's like, I got to do this, I got to do this, like round this up, which is really hard to like, oh, okay, you were asking me about your spirits in some murder case. Okay, I got to shut you down now because our time's up. You know, it's like the famous thing, like, time's up, time to go, when you have this huge realization.
Right.
So horrible to do to people. And I'm like, oh, and it just feels like this like massive like energy collapse. And then all of a sudden you got to go to another person and their spirits and their life and seeing their visions. And it's like, boom, boom, boom. Now I got to go pick up a kid and now deal with kid, stuff. So I always say I'm a soccer mom without a ball. So I guess I should just say I'm a basketball mom now because he's in basketball. But he's like, he has basketball games like 3 times a week now, and it's just wearing us out. On top of that, like we have CCD, and then our daughter has band stuff that's endless and fire. So it's like kid event, collapse. So 7:20, it's like, bam, I am done. And I swear that's when everybody tries to tell me something that they think. Yeah, that's true. That's true, Robert. They think it's important. But, in all this research too, that, like I know from my psychiatry, do not talk to people before bedtime about humongous things, Don't do that. People will spin on it. I mean, I have a house full of every ADD person in this house is like, boom, do not approach me about this. So trying to have like family meetings and stuff, but mama out at 7. Do not approach me with something that is major or a bill or are we going to do this? Are we going to do that? Where are we going on vacation? I don't care. I am tuning you out. I am done.
Kayla does that to me first thing in the morning.
Oh,
like best before I even get a coffee.
It's hard to not though.
Friend. Well, it's usually because like she's been up since like 3 a.m. So she's been up for 4 hours thinking about this. So as soon as I wake up, it's let's go. Yep. And I'm like, sure, yeah, okay. What?
Put brain into gear first.
Yeah.
I know. I always get that from him, where he's like, "Dude, I don't know. I just woke up. Give me a minute."
Please insert 25 more cents to continue conversation.
Exactly.
Yeah. It's funny. My husband will do it either before bed, or it's like it drives him nuts now that I'm shutting down the before bed. So I'll get up and then he whammies me with, "Oh, by the way, we have to do this, and all that." And I'm like, "What the hell? I'm just trying to get breakfast and get the kids out the door. Oh my God." And I'm like, sensory overload, cannot handle this. Let me get the kids out the door and then I can talk to you. But I always joke, the joke where like dad's not home until I'm like here on the cup. I'm like that with my Diet Coke in the morning. Good old Rosella is allergic to coffee. So coffee, onions, and red wine. And more things actually as I get older. It sucks. But I have to have a Diet Coke. So, and I'm allergic to coffee actually in the air. And my husband will put, like, he has like a Keurig, which usually doesn't bother me that much. But now we're having to open the window a lot and stuff like that. And of course, it's like better weather. But I'm like, don't talk to me until like I've had enough Diet Coke and it does not smell like coffee in here. Because now I have to leave the room because it's so bad. So we
this would be out for you.
Yeah.
Handle.
Yeah.
You would hate our house.
Espresso and cream.
I know, our house always smells like coffee.
And that it makes me literally projectile vomit until I just want to die. And I will be, it's like 6 hours of, I would say, like pregnancy nausea from hell. Like really bad. I like just have to strip off sometimes like layers like of clothes and plaster myself down to the tile floor because you feel so bad in front of the toilet because I'm not going to throw up. It's the worst reaction. But I did find out this is interesting because I thought it was so weird all my life with everybody saying to me, they always go, "Oh, I'm so sorry. That's so terrible." And I'm like, well, I don't know if I'm missing anything. To me, coffee looks grotesque. I'm just like thinking about what it is. And I'm like, I'm okay. I'm not missing anything. I'm fine. But people will be like, I'm so sorry, or I have to have my mocha, yeah. But strong places, it's funny. The cheaper the bean is, the worse reaction I'll have.
You would
So like
die in
Folgers.
Washington. The entire state smells like coffee.
I mean, right, like Seattle. Yeah.
Right?
Oh my gosh. Well, and Starbucks is, I think that Starbucks is like not that bad to me because again, it's the cheaper beans. So like Folgers and pretty much everything on a commercial. They're all cheap beans. What's the other one? Maxwell House, right? Those two, holy crap, get me. And so when my in-laws would visit, they would pretty much like we would make them go to the gas station down their street to go get like the coffee, and you had to have a lid. So if you had the lid on, it doesn't really affect me, but I can't have it in the car. Like even with the lid, I will start to smell it, and then I will get really sick. So
I think I don't think mine would affect you that bad because mine is in a Contigo cup, and so it's sealed all the time.
Yeah, if it's sealed, I'm good. But if like it's getting when the brewing it and getting it in the air, that's what gets me.
In that case, like you wouldn't even be able to go to certain stores around here because they all have like a coffee shop in them.
Yeah, grinders. I think that might get me.
See, and like me not getting coffee, like if I developed an allergy to it, it would not be bad for me. But I need probably a 200 like
it'd be bad for
200-mile radius around any other person in the world.
It's terrible. Yeah.
Because within 48 hours, I think I'd start killing people.
I mean, that's where Diet Coke comes in.
Well, do you drink tea? Does tea give you a bad reaction too, or is it just the coffee?
No, it doesn't. But I will say that if I have too much tea, and I've heard people say that, it gets my stomach sick. And it's funny, I only want tea when I'm sick. That's what I was telling my husband. I'm like, oh no, Sunday night, I knew I was going down because I went to the psychic fair and all their doors were open. And it was like freezing all day. I'm talking, it wasn't even 50 degrees. We were freezing. I should have brought a heater. And I was like, I know I'm going down hard because we were surrounded by all these flower trees. And that's what I'm allergic to. These flower trees and maple trees. And I have 3 maples that are exquisite in my backyard. They're so gorgeous, teasing the shit out of me. Like, I'm so pretty. Look at me. I'm killing you. And I'm like, oh God, I'm dying. So my husband was like, let's go to bed. And I started to like wheeze. Like I could tell that I was starting to wheeze. And when I was trying to just, normally breathe, like you do like a deep breath that you're just used to. And I couldn't. And I was like, oh no. And then so Monday I was just dragging, starting to like really feel the sinus, kind of what Cole was describing to me at the beginning of the show, like horrible headache, sinus pressure, like in between your eyes. I'm like, I'm going. So called and got an emergency doctor appointment on Tuesday, and they had me on everything that is known to man, but ibuprofen, because I can't have ibuprofen, which is really bad for my swelling because of my kidneys, because of my organ failure near death 5 years ago. So it's really awful. But so, and the bad thing is though, because I'm on a stimulant now, I'm on a steroid. I had my Diet Coke this morning. I was like shaking. I was like, oh my God. So, and I was supposed to go lie down for a little while because I had a reading at 12:30. And this girl was in California. We were doing it over Teams, and she really needed me. Such a sweet person. I loved her. But I was like, okay, just let me be okay for this hour, God, and give this message. And then you can do whatever, because I have off tomorrow. And just please heal me, because I have 2 readings on Friday, and they really need me. So I feel bad. But I will say, every time I ask for that, if I'm sick, it's like I'm just good for that time frame that I ask for, just to get that message out. And then I totally fall apart. Like, I am a hot snot mess after that, but I was okay during that whole thing. I was okay. God shines through, but it's like, okay.
That whole situation where you've had too much, that's my favorite moment on coffee. when I can't even.
Oh my God, that's the worst for me.
Oh hell, when I can't get the cup to my lips and I keep hitting myself in the face because I'm vibrating too hard, that's when like I know I've reached the peak.
The peak of coffee perfection.
Oh my God.
Oh, I hate that feeling. I hate it with a passion.
I don't like it. Like
That's
the loss of control.
That's when I start getting shit done. Friend.
You know,
see, I always feel like I'm gonna have a heart attack when I get to that point because I'm like, oh
Yeah,
God,
I'm Kayla.
oh jeez, and then like you can't even breathe right, and you're like, oh no, like I
Yeah,
need
I'm like,
water
oh,
or
shit.
something to get me like not
Yep.
like this.
But then I get
I panic.
But then if I'm doing stuff because I'm at that point, then it wasn't the coffee's fault that I had a heart attack.
I can't think correctly when I get into that shaky state. And it was like between the medicine and the dizziness, you know, and because it was like a stimulant. So I'm on a cough suppressant, and then I'm on the stimulant, and I took the antibiotic as well. Plus I had the caffeine. It was like all at once. And my husband was looking at me, and he's like repeating things, and I'm like, I'm trying to focus on what you're saying, but no, it's not working. Like I'm panicking because I'm shaking. I mean, when you feel like you're just kind of shaking, and then you're like Kayla said, you're worried you're gonna have a heart attack. Like, this is really
it
bad.
Feels like every blood vessel in your body is like pounding and pulsing, and you're like, oh God,
on fire.
Like you can hear your heartbeat in your head. Like it's bad. I'm like, shit, I'm going down.
I can't do steroids. They give me them like every once in a while when like my breathing gets really bad. But
so are you asthmatic?
Yes.
So yeah, I should ask you some questions later.
But oh my God,
because that's what I'm on now.
When I take like steroids, they make me crazy. They make me a crazy person. Like I feel like I just took a pill and it made me a psychopath. Like,
do you think it's because are you on the inhaler? Is it both of them or just the steroid?
No, it's just the steroid that does that.
Okay.
Like I can take my inhaler at any point. And it doesn't make me like psycho or anything like that, but I swear to God, like that week that they put you on those steroids to get you like back into action, it makes me like She-Hulk. Like I'm just nuts the entire time.
Well, and they told me, because I mean, you guys probably remember about like last year, right? How sick I was in December from this cold, and it really kept coming back, right? This cough from hell. Well, they told me they think that I'm asthmatic after that cold, and the same thing kind of happened to my mom. So when I hit like a cold wind, like if I just go outside, the weather's really cold, I'll start really crazy coughing, can't breathe, and just feel like I'm gonna just pass out. Sometimes it's really shuts me down. And then with the heat, I get the same kind of thing now.
Well,
with that, like it's so hot.
There is this really weird type of asthma that they call it cough asthma. So like you'll be fine just sitting around being normal or whatever, but when something screws with you enough to where you're coughing really bad, that's what causes the asthma. And it like is this specific subsection of asthmatics that have like cough asthma.
Wow. Because ever since I had that cold last December, it's like it's just carried on. And I got sick. I got sick in August from the heat wave that we had. It was like over 100 here. And I got really sick. And my doctor actually has the same problem. And he went down hard. We both went down 2 weeks, like kind of like in between each other.
Yeah.
And I was trying to get into his office, and he's like, I'm out because I can't go outside. Like I have to stay in the air conditioning. I can't even get in my car to go to work. So I was like, oh my God, I'm having the same freaking issue.
See, now for me, it's springtime. Springtime screws me up, like hardcore. Because of all
well, I either get sick in May or October.
Else. And it's like, oh God. Okay.
Yeah, well, and I'm on black seed, actually, Robert, on that black seed oil. I take that, I take zinc, and I take vitamin C, and I'm on that, like, what is it called? Blackberry or something. What that one thing?
Yeah.
Yeah, what it's called. But God, I'm on
I was
50
I was
something.
just showing that for Nikki because she's mentioned it. Berberine.
Ah, okay.
Yeah. Also
Yeah, she told me to do this other one.
Vitamin D, fish oil, memory and focus. I got a whole bloody
I have like 15 supplements. It's no joke in the morning.
Yeah.
Like you just see my pile.
I should totally take fish oil.
You would die. You're allergic to fish.
I have like I can't take the fish oil because it got my stomach sick all the time, and my sister-in-law had the same thing. So it's like a great benefit, but I'm like I'm so sick from it.
It's not worth it. Yeah, if it does more damage than good, not worth taking.
I have 4 pills. It's like
tea. If I have too much tea, it does the same thing.
I have 4 pills I take a day, and it's the metformin.
Yep.
And then the Ceylon cinnamon.
Yep.
And then flaxseed oil.
Yep.
Which?
Oh yeah. Huh.
You guys got to see this.
Yep.
Flaxseed oil.
My hands are pretty big.
Yeah.
Look at the size of that fricker.
Yeah. I know. And see, I can swallow like a lot of pills at one time because I have so many freaking pills that it's like down them really quick, get out the door as a kid.
Well, but here's the stupid part. You saw the size of that one, right?
Yeah, that's
okay. That one is the one that keeps me from having another stroke.
That's the fish oil.
Like that's stupid.
Yeah.
But you know,
it is.
So.
Oh my God, I should take a pile of my supplements in the morning. You guys will be like, oh my God. I think I'm on like 5 gummies alone, and then the rest is just pills. The magnesium I have to have because otherwise I have these leg cramps, and then I have a cream for it too that I have to put on.
Yep.
Yeah, it's horrible.
I can't take any kind of supplements.
Why?
Because of the pills that I'm on, I can't take any vitamins or supplements.
It makes her pills stop working.
Oh.
Which makes her crazy for 7 days, and then on the 7th day she dies. She's kind of like God. She'll do a lot of shit for 7 days, but then for 6 days, 7th day, like she rests.
Yeah,
eternally.
and then she rises. Yeah.
Yeah.
It was funny because I have my pile.
Really be careful.
And my kid asked me, he's like, well, what is this? What are all these pills? So I'm like, this one helps with this. This one helps with. Well, it was funny. I got this one. It's called, and I always botch it, so just expect it. I call it Ashtawagata. You probably know what I mean. But I don't. Yeah, and I never say it right. It's like an Indian kind of name and a root. I was like, this is the pill that makes mommy let daddy live. And he just started laughing. And then my husband goes, I like you that pill. I like you that pill a lot. It's so funny.
No, I have to be careful, like, what I drink, too. Because, like, I can't have certain energy drinks, or I'm not supposed to, because they have, like, ginseng or, like, added crap in them. And then...
those drinks give me that shaky jitter stuff, too, so I can't.
Yeah, and then I also can't, do a lot of, like, orange juice and stuff like that.
Yep.
You know, I've heard that people who have certain medications can't have orange juice.
Yeah.
Yeah, I am not allowed to eat anything with grapefruit in it.
Me either.
It's the acid. Yeah.
For one of the pills.
Yeah, they told me that if I eat grapefruit, it like makes it stop working or it makes something happen.
Yeah.
It's a weird reaction
Nikki's
to
typing.
grapefruit.
Nikki's typing.
Oh no. We got her riled up. Yeah, she sent me this other supplement, and it was like I didn't even have a chance to buy it because I went down so hard the next day. I had my husband go get me chapstick because my whole face, like from blowing my nose, is like crazy chaps. So like in between the chapstick for my lips and then the Neosporin to like keep my skin looking okay. I'm like, oh my God, just go get me chapstick. He's like, that's an odd request. I'm like, yeah, cough medicine and chapstick, please. And then I wanted chocolate because I was like, okay, I suddenly have a craving for chocolate. Just give me this, or you know, you might get hurt. Because I feel I can't eat anything. You don't want to eat anything when you're sick.
Yeah.
It's like you're living off of like chicken soup. So if you have a craving for something, it's like I want this now.
Yeah.
So I'll be losing some weight. I don't want anything. So he's like, "You want a cupcake?" I'm like, "Yeah. When I get better, I'm gonna make these cupcakes for the kids, and I'm gonna have one, guaranteed. I will have one."
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But oh my god, I got these amazing dark Reese's cups from Kroger. Oh gosh, they're itty bitty, but they're so good, and they're like, it's like a creamy peanut butter.
Yeah.
Oh god, they're so good. I'm gonna make the fudgy cupcakes and put them on top, and that will be like, okay,
Fudgy
mommy
cupcakes.
loves it.
Another friend I had, he used to go get these. He called them crack cookies because they were addictive like that. They had the Reese's cup in the cookie, like they baked the cookie and then put the Reese's cup in it as it was cooking, so it'd be one big thing.
I did that for Christmas.
Yeah.
Did you guys see?
I only made a few of those, and they were gone in 2 minutes.
Did you guys see the new Reese's cups?
I heard about something on on the radio.
PB&J.
Huh?
Peanut butter and jelly Reese's cups. They have grape or strawberry jelly inside them.
Peanut butter jelly time.
Oh.
That sounds interesting.
Yeah, I'm not sure if that'd be great or. I mean, it probably wouldn't be bad.
Well, I've only just gone about putting an order in for getting some peanut butter M&Ms because I had them way back in about 2001, I think it was, when a friend came over from Georgia over there in the US, and he brought some with him, and I've been hunting for them ever since. And I've only just found some, so I'm getting some of them. They
used to be really hard to find in America. And it's like kind of like they had peanut butter Twix, which I don't think they even make anymore. You could not really find them, and now all of a sudden the peanut butter M&Ms are everywhere.
Well,
that's the caramel ones are good.
Same with what is it? The graham crackers. We can't find graham crackers anywhere down here, so we can't even do s'mores.
Oh, that sucks.
Because I had a friend send some of them, send the full kit for s'mores over in the US. Philadelphia, somewhere she was, and had make them up in the microwave because she said stick them in the microwave for a few seconds, and we watched the marshmallows go expand and explode.
Yeah, like here, I mean, my husband has he makes a kit of everything. He'll buy it and he'll make a s'more kit for the whole summer, and it's usually gone pretty quick. But I make these awesome s'more cookies. Yeah. Oh my god, they're good. It's like you make the cookie dough just like you would make the chocolate chip dough, and but you put pretty much bits chocolate. It's graham crackers mashed up, so kind of crumbled up. You put that in there. You put chocolate chip in there, and then you also put little bits of marshmallow, like the tiny little marshmallows, and then you bake them in the oven. You take them out just 2 minutes before, and then you put, the big, the Nestle Crunch, Hershey bar, the little bit of it, how you can break them up. You put 1 bar on top of that and a marshmallow. Yep. Put it back in and let it melt. They are the best thing ever. Oh my God. Again, lasted probably 10 minutes. And we ate those in front of the fire, and then we made more of the actual things.
Yeah.
It's so funny. Peanut butter and jelly dough. I've made a chocolate peanut butter and jelly dough cake.
Yeah.
And it was pretty good. So there's a lot of peanut butter and jelly pies
Nikki.
that people make. You have to be a major fan of it.
Yeah, I'd say so.
I think that's funny. Yeah, Nikki's writing is funny. Ew.
Well, it's only been recently that down here actually has been getting the peanut butter cups, in the last, I think, 2 years. So we haven't had them for ever. I only found them over there when I was over there. And, we've only recently been getting in the A&W root beer as well. So
Wow. God.
$3.50 or something, or $3.60 a can.
Boy.
Oh wow. Oh wow.
Yeah.
That's like Italy prices. It's like $4 for 4 ounces.
Well, that was the thing
Pepsi.
that I noticed too. Like when I go and visit Canada, or when I go up there, like the sodas are different. Like even the ones that are the same, like Mountain Dew.
Mountain Dew
here versus Mountain Dew in a different country is totally a different soda.
It didn't have caffeine in it down here until about 2015, I think.
Yeah, that's the thing in Canada. It's a non-caffeinated drink.
Yeah.
And it tastes completely different than the one here.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yeah, like, I mean, in Singapore, my dad used to live in Singapore for quite a while. Well, in Singapore, like the cereals were like crazy. I remember the cereals were in small boxes.
Yeah.
Really tiny. And they were like, yeah. And like $4, like for the cereal. And I mean, this is back in the 90s, kind of like, I mean, early 90s. So that's a lot back then.
Yeah, that's something else I noticed is that everything is smaller sizes in other countries.
Different countries.
Like,
yeah.
In the
Even
US,
like
it seems
bars.
like everything is like ultra
massive.
Huge.
Yeah.
Right.
Costco.
And they tell us that we're overweight all the time, you know?
Well, that's because our sizes are like 5 times the size of somebody else's serving.
Yeah. Because you're like shocked and I'm like, well, but this is going to only like last me like 2 days in my house. Like, you know, if you have kids, it's cereal and a soda.
Like you get the candy bars here and they're like huge in comparison to what they are in certain other countries where it's like
they're not the fun
like
size,
the share size. Yeah. Right.
Yeah, it's like Halloween over there.
How can you really call that fun?
Yeah.
Go on.
Yeah. Like, I mean, remember being in Italy and they're like, here's your night's treat. And I'm like, oh my God, this is like so tiny. Okay. And they had like 3 in 1. I forget. It's like, starts with a T and now it's popular. But back then you could only find it like in other countries. And I remember it being in Singapore and like Malaysia and other places that we went to. Because my dad traveled all the time. So we were always on planes in other countries. But you would see it. I'd be like, okay, I know I'm out of the United States when I see this candy. And it was like 3 tiny ones in a little box. And I did not like it as a kid because it has hazelnut in it. And now that I'm an adult, I'm like, oh, now I like hazelnut, but I never did before. So kind of funny how your taste changed. But they didn't have very much over there. Right. I had a Mountain Dew in like only once in Singapore, and I did not like it and gave it to my brother because it was like, it tasted
different.
Gross.
Exactly.
Like kind of like Mellow Yellow. It tastes like Mellow Yellow is a little different. I'm like, no.
You know what? When we were growing up, we all preferred Mellow Yellow to Mountain Dew.
Yeah.
Like,
that's because you guys had the crap Mountain Dew.
But we had the good Mellow Yellow too.
Yeah, that is true. The Mellow Yellow is different
Mellow
Yellow. Right. Before we go, like we've been talking about like different pills that we take and different things.
Yep.
So for anyone local in the Concrete area, we have a new business in town. So Katie Rakestraw with Woodland Ascension is her business name, and locally and organically grown herbs and flowers, custom homeopathic answers, produce, and plant starts. So if anyone local to the Concrete area or farther out would like to talk to her or maybe buy some of her products, her name is Katie Lily Jean, and you can reach her on Facebook. So make sure you check that out. It's always nice to have different options for all the different crap we put into our bodies.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yes, definitely.
And her options are way better than a lot of the stuff that we do. So
yeah, okay.
Because you're not part of Big Pharma.
Friend, I would like to meet Big Pharma and give him a kick to the nads.
I gotta be honest. I'm kind of a fan of Big Pharma, just because I'd probably be dead if it wasn't for Big Pharma. So, truth is true.
I don't believe that.
So, either that or Big Pharma made me sick in the first.
There you go.
Dun dun dun.
Friend. So, Rosella.
Yeah.
Where can we find your podcast?
I'm on Spotify, and Podcaster. It used to be on Anchor FM, but I think that they moved over to Podcaster. So I will say this: if you type in "A Haunting Good Time" in the internet, and say Rosella C. Rowe, ROWE, it will come right up. Also, then if you go on my Facebook page under A Haunting Good Time, it's like at A Haunting Good Time radio show. It comes up as well, and I post the new episodes there. So that I thought that I posted actually the Anchorage when we were actually at Lafayette Hotel, but so much happened and I was so overwhelmed that I convinced myself that I did, because the time was just so crazy and chaotic that I just did it yesterday because I remembered, and I could finally see my phone because of my dizzy sinus things. But yeah, also if you go to on Facebook, like the at Rosella C. Rowe author, that is my author page, but I also post the podcast there. I post whatever we do there on there too, as well as my blog, so my haunted travel blog. And if you type in that too to the internet, my haunted travel blog, Rosella C. Rowe, it comes right up. And I have a new article at pretty much every first of the month. So the new one's coming out actually tomorrow morning, Ohio time, because I'm on Eastern Standard Time. The new one comes out, so that will be awesome. And then I have another one June 1st. I have to work on some others. And Cole, you need to get that information.
I know. I
was going to do that one next.
Just trying to find the time to actually sit down.
Cool story about like Cole that I'm like, yeah, like we got to get this. It's about a ghost car, and I've been wanting to do this for years. So it's like, yeah.
We were doing the remodel of the bathroom. So,
what?
I'm sorry. Cole was doing the remodel of our bathroom.
I don't remember you being in there at all.
I did not help at all.
That is so funny.
But
I love it.
So he just finished that. So now he's gonna have some more time. But he was working really hard
and now it's
getting that going.
Hopefully he doesn't get sick.
I tried to chop my finger off with a lawnmower today, so we'll see.
Oh God.
I have 9 more. It's fine. Friend.
Well, and I was going to say, if you want to go to my other psyche pages, it's at Readings by Rosella, and I post daily guidance every day. And people have been really writing me a lot of great messages, like "Thank you, you saved my life." A lot of that past 4 days, so I wanted to say thank you. And those are a lot of people who listen to this, so thank you for that. I'm trying to encourage people. There's a lot of sadness going on in the world right now, so we just really got to focus on, getting some good energy, taking care of ourselves, and knowing that they're taking care of us on the other side, and just asking you shall receive with that prayer, okay?
Prayer.
So, yeah.
For sure.
Also, don't forget to check out Rosella C. Rowe on Amazon.com for her books.
Thank you. Yes.
Fran, you always forget about that one.
I do.
Fran.
I'm surprised I remember what I did with this head cold, so it's like, okay.
And then don't forget to check out every week on YouTube.com, Restore Belief with Nikki Jacobs. I believe she's doing a show tomorrow night, maybe. We'll see.
Okay.
And then
if she's well enough, yeah,
as long as she's well enough, she'll be doing a show tomorrow night. So hopefully we'll all be able to check that out. And then, Robert, do you guys have another show coming up?
Nothing recent because the other Nikki that does the other show, her little girl is still out of school at the time because it's still school holidays down there in Western Australia in Perth. So I don't know when the next one will be, but I'll keep you apprised.
You tell that kid get their ass back to school, damn it. What do they think this is?
I was going to say, I actually am going to be at Old Mason Winery in West Milton, Ohio on May 17th, and it is sold out, but people are writing me very discouraged. When are you doing another event? Normally, they're going into the summer, so they're too busy, so they can't book me until September. So just message me and text me. They have my number as well, and my stuff is online at Readings by Rosella. Don't be discouraged if you want a reading and you want to hear from a loved one. I totally understand. But just because I'm booked doesn't mean you can't get to me. I do readings from home, FaceTime, and also I do Teams. There's many ways to be able to do it. I also do it on the phone. I had one from California today, so there's ways. And then I might have some slots in Grade 1 Indiana and Happy Haunts, and that is May 31st. So, and I do have some Halloween bookings I'm hoping to work on in October. So don't be discouraged. People are like, I want to go to you locally, but if you come to me actually and do it like this way, you actually like at home or online, you get an hour versus just a 20 minutes. So I tell people you get a lot more coming through, if you ask me, by doing it with me separately and not a lot of people staring. So to each their own now.
Yeah.
I just don't want people to
not think busy lately.
I have been off the wall busy, yeah. Just crazy. I've had 3 reading parties just this month on top of all these events. So, whew.
I know, just the kids alone is enough to fill up your time.
I know. And we just we've been purchasing, doing big purchases and things like that. Things have been breaking. So it's like, oh God, what are we going to do? So it has been just hectic. But I talked to other people, clients, friends, neighbors, and they're saying the same thing. So I'm like, it feels like we're stuck in a full moon, of chaos.
Right. Well,
end of the year.
Though, I think this just is the start of everyone's starting to get busy again. Summer's coming for this side of the world. Right?
Yep.
Yep.
I mean, fuck, Robert's about to celebrate Christmas. Right?
That's it. There we go.
Once again, May's here. It's already May yet, so.
It's May.
Right.
I can't believe it's May. I'm just, I'm dying from my sinus infection. I should believe it because I get sick all the time every May. So it's every May.
You really are sick because it's not May. We have 2 minutes. Well, no, it is where you are. Holy shit. Friend. Yeah. But here, we have 2 minutes. We have 2 minutes. I'm still in April.
Yeah.
Well, it's my mother's in Michigan, so it takes her forever. They don't get any plants or any greenery or anything until the second week of June. And they have snow sometimes in June. It's crazy. So she comes down here and she says down here and she's like, oh my God, it's so green. Oh, wow. And I'm like, yeah, I'm dying. So,
Robert, I know it gets super hot where you're at, but does it snow there too?
Down south it does. In New South Wales and Victoria, they have the Alpine Mountains and Perisher, Snowy Mountains, because they have the Snowy Mountain hydroelectric dam.
Mm-hmm.
And where they filmed The Man from Snowy River, that snows down there. That's where we're actually looking at possibly heading, if we can afford a place, to get out of the humidity from up this way.
Okay. Wow.
Rock on.
So if you find any pictures of heaps of snow, that's probably where you're going to end up.
That's where you want to be. That's funny. Us, we're no, we're going to go to Florida.
No, not a freaking chance. I love snow.
I can't stand heat. So it's been really great, the weather here, but it's been a lot of rain coming through now. May is our dangerous time here because we have turned into a tornado alley in the past, pretty much 7 years, which we never had before. Mm-hmm. So it gets really dangerous here in May. So the poor kids. We almost died. All the parents, over 100 parents in the parking lot, just trying to pick up our kids one day about 2 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
Really bad. I was so furious. So we had to run out of our cars and go into the building. and physically pick up our kids so we could actually drive out. It's like to our homes to be safe because they were in a bad zone. So just crazy. And that's only 4 minutes away from me. It's not very far. So yeah, we're kind of going into a weird time. I love it when it's 67, 70 degrees. Yeah. Like, whew, yeah. I can get on my bike and ride away from my house. It's
unseasonably warm here in Washington so far.
Yeah.
Yeah, like the last couple of weeks we've had like 77-degree weather. Like
Holy shoot.
Yeah, but we're waking up to 35.
Yeah, it's cold as hell in the morning, but it's so hot at night. Weird. You turn on all the fans, and then when you wake up, you're just an icicle.
You're frozen at 4 in the morning. Like, it's been weird like that here. Like, yeah, it starts out like it's kind of like 28 to 30, like some degrees. And then it'll get up it'll be like, okay, it's going to be 67. And it's all of a sudden like 86. Like 2 days ago, it was 86 degrees when I picked up my son from school. And I didn't believe my car because I was like, oh, something's, my car is dark, I guess. So it must be the thing is wrong because it's collecting the heat. No, I was trying to lie to myself so I could kind of live. Well, it was 86.
That's the problem is you never know what to wear either. Because you're like, oh, okay, it's so hot, I should put on shorts, and then it's going to start pouring, and you're like, oh, God, now I'm frozen.
I would suggest wearing clothes.
Well, yeah.
Brand.
Well, the bad thing is, shorts, because I don't know how to address my kid, because they don't have air conditioning, and all their windows are open. So he's like, Mom, I'm always freezing or hot as heck. Mm-hmm. So I kind of now layer him, and I'm like, go to the bathroom and take off the clothes and put it in your bag. Because you don't know what you're going to get.
You need to get him some 90s clothes.
I know, yeah, where you just unzip them.
Yeah, where you unzip them, they turn into shorts.
Hammer time, right?
Friend.
Oh my God, remember MC Hammer?
Oh God, yeah.
It's Hammer time, and he always wore those and unzipped them.
Yeah, friend. So we usually used to just unzip the backs so that your legs could stay cold, cool. You'd get a slight breeze, friend, but the lower legs would still be covered.
Yeah, I know. I always thought it was so stupid when I was a kid.
All right, guys.
Oh my God,
90s fashion. Oh,
so
wow.
next week we are going to actually. I haven't asked her yet, but I'm sure she'll be on board. We're going to need Nikki's help because we are going to be talking about parts of the hierarchy. Because John had an incident in college where he actually ended up in a conversation about it, and now he has questions for Nikki.
Oh my gosh.
Friend, so he'll be joining us next week, and we will be working on that. So thank you everyone for listening tonight. Thank you guys for being on the show as always. And for all those of you in Canada, I'm so fucking sorry. For all those that voted that way, well, you dug your own goddamn grave. Fuck you. Sorry.
Okay.
But, friend, I'll explain it to you after we get off, because it's going to include a few more expletives.
My husband told me something, and I'm like, wait a minute, what?
Friend. So, everyone have a great week. May the 4th be with you, because we have May 4th coming up.
And we have Revenge of the 5th.
And Robert, on that day.
Second year anniversary of, my mum dying, so, yeah.
Remember, we love you, and I hope you can feel us hugging you on that day. Okay? Yeah. Friend. But you were right in your post. She is an epic woman for going out on that day. Because, friend, who does that? That's awesome. Friend.
Yeah. You're not going to forget it, are you?
Right?
May the 4th.
So we will see you all next week with the hierarchy. So thank you very much for listening, and good night, guys.
Good night, everybody.
Night.
Yeah.
Data transfer complete. System malfunction. Please evacuate immediately. Program terminated.
Son of a biscuit eater.